All right, so it's recording. Make sure it sees the full screen. We should just bring someone in here to record it. Like three film students.
We have film students. Might as well.
No, you know what? It would have taken all of this time for them to be all, well, how are the audio levels? Does it come through?
Oh my gosh. Hey, can you move one step forward?
Oh, hold on, we have to white balance again.
We have to white balance again.
All right, it looks like you can see the entire screen fine. So if you want to be on camera, stand in front of the screen. If you don't want to be on camera, stay away from the screen.
Okay.
Did that go for all of us, or?
You had your chance.
Yeah.
Apparently, I lost my chance.
Yeah. We can redo it. We'll
Okay, Tom Clancy's doing this one.
Tom's on camera.
Okay, so I did my retail game analysis on XCOM Enemy Unknown. More specifically, I'm analyzing the class customization aspect of it. They do some really interesting things. First of all, who's here has played XCOM?
I just started playing it last night. It's so fun.
It's
Yes.
awesome.
Okay, so I am actually going to be discussing why this game is fun. But before I get into that, what makes a good game? Some things we've discussed that make a good game are story, mechanics, flexibility, and rewards. Flexibility meaning the player can play how they want to play. You know, they're not stuck to a linear path of shoot this guy, move to point B, shoot another guy, move to point C. It's here's point A, here's point E, or point Z or whatever, make your own way to get there. And then rewards, like is what I'm doing really, really rewarding? Do I feel like I actually earned this, or is it like kind of like I just wasted my time? The story in XCOM is not at all riveting. I mean, it's good, and there's some good things they do with it near to the end, but it's, aliens are attacking the Earth, and that's about it. You're part of a joint project set up by the government to defend the Earth, and you have essentially all of the not all of the resources. You have resources from the world coming into you. You must defend the planet. The game itself is split up into two games, actually. The one game is the combat aspect. After I go through this, I'm going to play through the game a little bit just to show you what I'm talking about. There's the combat aspect, which is it's a turn-based strategy game, essentially. So you choose where your soldiers move, and you shoot for them, and you succeed or fail by that. So it's turn-based. Each turn, the player can move their people, their units in their squad. They have 4 to 6. They can move those people around the map and do any of these functions, from shooting, attacking, overwatch, which basically means they sit still, and if an enemy moves within their sight line, they shoot them, and then hunker down, which means increases their defense. The second half of the game is a base management half of this game. This part is kind of, in my opinion, the weaker part of the game. Here you can research new equipment, and the whole way this story is advanced is through the researching. So you have to research, do autopsies to discover new equipment, and then eventually you capture an enemy and then interrogate him, then capture another enemy and interrogate him, and you slowly get information on further story elements as it goes along. So that's how you advance the game. But besides that, it's really micromanaging, and you kind of build what facilities you want in there, but it's repetitive. It has some glimmers, but it's not amazing. You can hire new soldiers, and there's a panic level for each country, and you can increase or you can decrease that panic level by putting satellites over them or doing missions in their territory, shooting down UFOs, all those kind of things. I'm not really doing these parts of the game justice because it's not what I want to focus on. There are some very good elements to this game, to both halves. They both have very respective elements, but it's not what I'm looking at. The combat squad, or in the combat section, the flexibility is actually very high. It's an open map, and you have your squad. You can set your squad up how you want, and you move into the combat and move around and move where you want. You can like set up with 4 snipers and just do Overwatch, 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 and slowly move up and just kind of herd your enemies into a corner. Or you can go with all assaults and just run straight in with shotguns and blow them up. So the flexibility is really there. This game is a lot of fun to play combat-wise. Yeah, and the base management, the base is basically set up with a grid, and you plug in what buildings you want in which section of the grid, and that's basically how it is. And besides that, you can research what you want and build what weapons that you want within respectiveness of what the ones they have. The rewards are the reward is actually probably one of the weaker points in this game, at least in my opinion, because the rewards for combat is wherever area you were fighting in gets lower panic, which is good. Then you get some like weapon fragments from the creatures you kill, and then like depending on the battle, some more specific things like if you take down a UFO, you might get some like alien alloy or something like that. So the rewards for the combat system are meant to fuel the base management system, and the base management system, you build better weapons to support the combat system. So it's a really short loop, which is good and bad at the same time. It's good because you see the effects of it automatically, but it's bad because there's not much you can do with it. It's not very flexible. So in my personal rating, I gave the combat section probably about a 5 out of 10. It's good, but it doesn't hold up very well. The base management system, I personally didn't like. I gave it a 3 out of 10. But Metacritic gives the entire game an 8. So, and I would agree with that. I'd probably give it a 9. So, what I want to focus on is what fills that gap up. Like, what welds these two kind of poor games into one really good game. And what I recognize that is squad customization. The squad customization in this game is the bridge in between base management and the combat. Just to give you a little bit of an overview, there are 4 different units. There's the sniper, who's long range and high power, but he cannot move and shoot at the same time off his base stats. Later on, there's an upgrade that you can move and shoot, but it gives you a penalty to aim. So it's give and take. He's really good if you level him up the right way, obviously, like all units.
Yeah, you give him like the angel flight and the sniper or sight lines.
There's an upgrade where he can shoot any enemy within sight line of a teammate, and there's armor that is an archangel armor, so you can fly. Right. So like if there's like straight linear maps where you just fly him up and then run a scout out, and then any enemy there he could just pick off, and it just becomes really OP. But yeah, in the beginning half it's really balanced. Yeah. It's overpowered because you use them correctly. Yeah. Then there's the assault class. An assault class is what it sounds like, first in, last out. They can use a run and gun ability so that they can run both spaces. Like they can run as far as possible and still shoot. Everyone else can run 2 lengths, and then that would be it for their turn. They can run 2 lengths and then shoot. They can use a shotgun or assault rifle. They're kind of mid-range, mid-power, again, depending on how you level them up and use them. Then there's the support class. Support class, as it sounds, is there to support the other people. They can use, eventually they can have 3 med packs, or med kits. They have smoke grenades, which if any teammate standing in a smoke grenade does not take as much damage, or is harder to hit, and then they just use an assault rifle. Then there's the heavy, high damage, low accuracy, can't move very far, has a rocket launcher and a giant minigun, or machine gun. Yeah, he can't fire the rocket launcher and move in the same turn, so there's that give and take there. And then here's the customizing screen. This is really the meat of what this game is. Because when you play the game, if you play with just the basic units they give you, it's not very fun. You know, like I mean, it's fun because it's a game. You know, when you paid money for it, you want to get that monetary value. But it's like, okay, whatever. This game really focuses on what we're trying to focus on with our JDRF program, which is getting an emotional connection with this game. As you can see here, you can change the first and last name of the person. This picture's from a earlier beta, I think. So there is no country. Like you can't choose what country they come from. You're just given a soldier. But you can change their race, voice, head, skin color, hair, and hair color. So you can basically customize these people to be anybody you want, from heroes to your friends or anything like that. And this, sorry, Randy just showed up at the door and was like, this is really what makes this game fun, because it's like any game, if you don't have a reason to play the game, then you don't play the game. You know what I mean? Call of Duty, it's like you play it because you're playing with friends, but the story mode, it's like you play through to experience it because you paid money for it, but you wouldn't play it again because there's no drive. I'll show you. Here's my squad. This is why I have been playing the game. This here is my brother-in-law, Chris, my sister, me, and my sister's friend, and then my brother-in-law's best friend and his brother. So this is the squad that I run with. These are like my friends, my close friends. And when I go into battle, it's not just a game to me. You know, it's when Peter could probably attest to this, or people who have played this. If you set up your squad like this and you have a strategic mind, it's not a matter of, okay, I need an assault here. It's a matter of, okay, I'm going to move up to this position so I can kill this guy who's flanking my sister so that she can move to heal my brother-in-law so that he can cover the sniper. You know, so that is the, like, if this game kind of gives as good as it gets, you know, so if you put in the time to make a squad like this, where for me it's my teammate, they're like my family and my friends. So when you have a squad like this, you get an emotional attachment. I'm sorry. And when one of your teammates dies, it's like that person actually died. You know, so it's like you actually want to fight for your team to make sure that they don't suffer damages like this. So, like, what I'm trying to teach and say is giving players that emotional connection is something that a lot of game studios and game developers, like, it's in their mind, but it's not pressing. But in this game, if it wasn't there, this game would not have done as well, in my opinion.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you that a lot of my enjoyment for XCOM came from having my own named personal troops.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems like a kind of simple or maybe obvious answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why haven't other games done it in the past? Is it because no one thought to do it before, or will we see more of this in the future, do you think?
I think some games have done it in the past, and I think we will see more in the future. It's a very, like, customizing a character is very, very, like, accessible. A lot of people do it because it brings in some emotional connection. I think what makes it very good in XCOM is that you're controlling that person and their movements, and the combat is very punishing and rewarding. Like, if you move someone too far and they get killed, you know why. You know, it's like I moved him too far and 4 enemies appeared around him. You know what I mean? It's not a matter of, like, in other games where it's like, okay, so I just created a character and then I build it this specific way. In this game, it's I created my team and I move my team directly where I want them. You ready?
I also think another reason why other games don't really do this is because most games where you'd have the opportunity to do something like this,
especially with like turn-based combat, is like the normally like very core like RPGs where you're given characters with personalities rather than you creating those personalities.
Okay.
Yeah, XCOM kind of gives you that unique opportunity to create those personalities yourselves.
Yep.
So you need a situation where you have like a blank slate and maybe lots of them. Okay.
Yeah, it's less about the pre-existing characters and more about the situation.
Yeah. And then even like how you choose your class can affect how you make people. Like I made Chris here my assault because he's a cop, and that's the kind of things he does as he goes along. I made Jennifer, his wife, support because she's directly supporting assault. You know what I mean? And she supports him because she's his wife. I made me the heavy because I'm just a big dude, and like I'm the bigger one of our group. And then I made I made these two Sarsanis, whatever, I don't care. Nick and Alex, their names. I made them the snipers because they're both really tactical thinking. They both play Magic and are like deep into it, you know. So they really love strategy, and that's what a sniper is, in my opinion. And then I just kind of brought her along because my sister's friend, and I needed a sixth person. But the customization isn't just like, you know, like Dark Souls, where it's you slap a face and a name and hair, and then like give it a default class, and then you keep playing. It's more of like who they are. You know, it's like you give them the name and face and default stuff, but then you also assign the class to them, and then you build that class, or like you build that class to their personality. And if like that's where I say it's a give and take. If you give in the time to actually emotionally invest in these characters, then the game like gives that to you, and then you have a more pleasurable experience.
Okay. So it's not just that they're blank slate characters, but as you said, play style comes into it, which allows you to evoke personality.
Yeah. I think that XCOM, the way it sets it up is, it sets up a really good playground for this, because it gives you blank slates, but it also gives you some rigidness to it. You know, like these are the classes, set them up, and it really sets up a safe, familiar, like not familiar, but a safe environment for the player to make, to customize their squad this way. You know what I mean? Because the way they set it up, it's like it's not like in D&D. I haven't played it much, but it seems like you kind of make a character and then you follow D&D. Why would I bring that up? I don't even play. Dark Souls. That's the last thing I played with the customization. You play that, you know, you set a face and all that kind of stuff, but there's no real personality to it. You know, you pick a class, set a face, pick a name, pick a hairstyle, all that kind of stuff, make it your own. But there's no personality to that. You know, like there's play style differentials, you know, like a warrior is going to go and tank compared to a pyro or a dex build who's going to dodge constantly. You know what I mean? There's play style differences, but there's not like differences in how you look at the character. You know what I mean? It could essentially just be like one of the T models, but you're playing differently.
Yeah.
This you bring you bring in their personalities, and kind of like it almost sets the personalities, because it's like you can make anybody anything, but as they play through it, it's like, okay, they have a specific play style, but if you have the emotional connection, it's like, okay, I'm playing the play style as I would think they would play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about with emotional connection. I found a post-mortem with the lead designer, Jake Solomon, and he was kind of talking about a little bit of customization. Basically, they were going to have, some people wanted accents for the soldiers, you know, so you can give them any accent you want. He said, like accents on the soldiers, all soldiers in XCOM speak in American voices, regardless of the country of origin. That was his decision. He kind of said that people don't give a shit what their people sound like. But he was wrong about that. In fact, Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation said he would had a mod to have to actually make real accents into the game.
Oh, cool.
So it's like it's where he was like it kind of shows their like the customization was just kind of like added in.
Yeah.
You know, and like they didn't really mean to it, but the people who played the game took a grasp of this is why I'm playing. You know what I mean? Because like that's the first thing that makes the game fun is having your squad of your best friends going and fighting off hordes of aliens. So yeah, that's it for the power. There's that's it for the PowerPoint. I'm going to pull up the game and play through the intro, the tutorial level, because it really does a good job with teaching the game in a dynamic way. Oh, I just moved your camera and dropped your camera.
Why are you gonna be doing that?
Because I don't want to roll down.
Oh, it looks like it's fine now.
Okay. As here, you can just set. I'm gonna just do easy because it's easy.
I think there's 10 minutes left in class, just so you know how much time.
Okay, that's why I'm doing easy too. It gives a little bit of a backstory. I'm just gonna skip it because we are low on time. Unless you want me to just watch it.
Oh, no, that's fine if you want to skip it.
Okay.
Go right to where you want to focus.
Yeah.
She had an accent.
But she's not a customizable character. Okay.
If you can, when you can control the game,
Mhm.
maybe set your gamma or brightness up a bit so it's
Oh,
harder to
wow.
see on the projector. Yeah, I think that's part of it too.
Hey, I wonder if it was intentional that the first mission takes place in the same place as Gamescom.
Oh. I didn't-
What can I set it to?
1228 by 1024.
Yeah, that one there.
There we go.
1280.
Yay! You may have to change it in the game as well.
Yeah.
Well, once you launch your mission.
I'm just gonna launch it because.
Care about the backstory of anything.
I know. The problem is I forgot the button to skip it. If you ever play this game, play it with a controller. The controls are very natural on a controller, but they are clunky as hell on a keyboard. Like to click where you want people to go, it's right click, but you have to hit enter to activate movement.
Yeah. There's annoying.
It just loads you up with 4 basic characters.
You keep one of them.
That was part of the surprise. Yeah, it's
It's spoilers, Bob.
the
You,
way
you
they
can keep the other 3 if you want.
can you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
see if you can change the option.
Yeah.
Does all the roles are not really roles.
Oh, it's still on
Yeah, in this part, it gives
now
you the feeling of the way I want to just kind of.
Yeah, you can do the 1280 by 1024 right there. It was on the screen. There it is.
You just passed it.
So
Yeah, right there.
there.
And then maybe set your brightness up a bit. Just because our projectors are so dark. That's better.
Okay. It gives you the illusion that you're actually playing because it lets you move your characters around, and kind of shows you where to click it, but you still feel like you're playing because it's not just it's railroading you in a nice way because it's showing you where to put people.
hope it's an alien.
So it's been a while since I played this, but the backstory is that you're sent to investigate some kind of alien activity in this location, right?
Yep. There was a crash site, a chopper crash, and you went to go investigate it.
You know, this is bad as Halo 3 faces.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I like their style.
Mhm.
Realistic, but kind of cartoony, colorful.
Yeah, and the guns are just massive. The
Yeah.
sniper's like 6 feet long,
Yeah,
but it works.
It's hand-drawn Unreal.
yeah. There you go. The artist in the room can explain.
Yeah, the artist in the other. So you can see, you kind of have two
Yeah.
places to run. There's like this blue one. If I were to move there in normal combat, I could shoot right after that. But if I were to move here, I couldn't because I'm dashing. And just let me freaking move there.
Is it right click?
Can you press enter first?
There we go. As you can see, it's the keyboard controls are really funky. In game, like that second line is where the assault could run up to that and still shoot if he used his
Run and gun.
run and gun.
Like a boss.
Hello.
Like a boss. Yes. As you can see, the intro is very cinematic. And that chick is annoying as shit.
XCOM.
Yeah, the intro, it takes a long time to get off the ground because it kind of has this stop-starty cinematic way of going about it. But once you finally get inside the building, like right up in here, yeah, it's when you first
That's part of the whole game.
when you start playing the game, it's like, you know, okay, I'm just moving my people up because they're telling me to. The spoiler alert that Bob gave, it's not really a spoiler. Basically, they have you set up and you advance on this guy and you move all your people up. Then a whole bunch of zombies move in and you lose 3 of your troop, or 3 of your squad, and 1 stays alive. But since, like, at least for me, when I moved them into place, it's like, okay, I moved them. It's not because they told me there. I could, like, it's not because they said, move your people here. I chose to move my people there, and then they all died because of my choice. So it made me feel personally responsible when they all died. So it kind of began the whole emotional connection. And then once I built my own team, I don't know why the heck
You were thinking, I don't want that to happen to my guys too.
Exactly. Like as you go through the game, it's like these kind of things. It seems like it would just be simple and you wouldn't really care about it, but actually, when you start like building your own team and like imagining your squad, it's like, okay, I saw what happened to that squad. If I mess up, I don't want that to happen to my team. You know. He looks like Marcus Phoenix. If he's gonna die.
I don't know, man. If I'd seen some
Just
dude
like
just
that.
standing there with a grenade,
I would've
think I'd have been
shot him.
shooting first.
Yeah, I know, right? But
Oh.
okay, I'm gonna just call it bullshit. When you face those guys, they do not hit 8 damage.
Yeah. That was fake, probably.
Yeah, this whole section is scripted.
Yeah.
You can see you can do all these things. Obviously, though, I'm gonna fire, and then you gotta hit enter to activate it.
It makes for a good tutorial, though.
It makes for in my opinion, it makes for a really good tutorial because it kind of teaches It teaches you what you need to know, like movement and all that kind of stuff. But it also teaches you that you want to take care of your team at the same time.
A lot of these actions, like if you play through this tutorial over and over again, you'll find like that one guy attacking the flank of the alien, it's always a critical hit. Like it always does enough damage to kill him to make sure that you always go to the next stage of the tutorial.
And it always hits.
Yeah, and it always
The
hits.
tutorial always hits. I mean, the tutorial you got flawless aim, but
Yeah.
In game, like
Yeah.
in game, those percentages are just
TBS.
really frustrating.
Not the Japanese person.
Seems racist.
What? Because Carlos Martin is Mexican and he's the last one alive?
Yeah. So stereotypical.
We lost the Russian and the Japanese woman.
Oh, their ragdoll effects are hilarious when you get a sniper hit though, because the guy will just go
But we
flying
kept
like
the
30 feet.
Mexican
I love
with the
that, though.
mustache and the mohawk.
Fool.
The Argentinian.
Okay.
The things look pretty small for doing that giant evisceration of the last people.
Yeah.
So any
This-
last thoughts?
Last thoughts, basically, with customization and making your own team, at least in this game, it can make winning a game, like winning a battle, actually feel like a mega loss because you lost half of your team. So, like, really, when you make a game, remember that customization can be just a cool gimmick where you kind of make your own spin on a default character who has, like, there might be 3 or 4 different classes, but it's just different game style play styles. Or you can actually make customization matter in a way that makes people want to, like, continue playing the game and gives people an emotional connection to the game, so that after 3 hours of play, when they look up and realize, crap, it's been 6 hours or whatever, they can either say just one more mission because I need to rescue this person, or they can just be like, okay, whatever, I'm done. Like, if they have that emotional connection, they're more willing to try to make that small hurdle that snowballs into 3 or 6 more that we've all experienced, especially in RPGs.
Yeah.
If they have an emotional connection, it makes them more willing to make that hurdle rather than just walk away because it's too late. That's it.
Cool. All right, thank you, Ryan. That's really good. All right, so I think we're at the end of class, so I'll say have a nice break, enjoy your filters, and look forward to seeing you next.
I'm going to.
What's that?
I haven't signed up for this project. But
Oh,
there's just kind of slots at the end. So
yeah, and if for some reason you really want to do an earlier one, that's okay. We can have like maybe 2 in a day.
I was gonna say, is there like in that same place to do it? Is there anything about what game we're going to do? Can we do that? I haven't started.
You can still, yeah. I mean, like if everybody wanted to do XCOM, I wouldn't have a technical reason to not.
Okay, but if I come up with another one, there's no way I can like make sure no one else is not.
Oh, no. I mean, like in that sense, it's sort of first come first serve. But I would say it's probably unlikely that any 2 people would have the exact same reason to review even the same game. So even then, there's like, because like if I did XCOM, maybe it'd be for a different reason. Maybe I'd want to go into like
The panic system.
Yeah, the panic system, for example.
All the stuff that Ryan said he wasn't going to go into.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of room to explore even within the same title. But yeah, just post your name on there, and if you want to make sure that you get to a game sooner, maybe double up on a day and go earlier.
Are you going to be around during lab week?
No, probably not, but I'll be around on email at least.
Sounds good.
And I'll have your JDRF comments probably by 4 or 5 today.
So, I actually can't come to that meeting because I have to go play XCOM.
Don't worry about it. I have the thing today at 3:45.
See you, Tom.
Anyone at Bioware Montreal?
That's just Peter and our James
I know
and
Mitchell
Bob.
Fugino works there. I don't know who else.
If you want to head out.
Well, there's